Hi friends, Devang here. So good morning and welcome back to my revision series for CA final costing subject. New syllabus now, it is called as SCMPE. Today's revision is for chapter number 3. Chapter number 3, which is Lean System and Innovation. Now this chapter is just like chapter number 2. This chapter is also more of theory, less of practicals. In fact, chapter 2 at least had some good number of practical questions. This chapter 3 has almost very less practical questions, mostly important only in theory. Yeah, we will be revising both theory as well as practicals in the chapter. Well, so this chapter is about lean systems. Mainly it is about lean systems. Last one small topic, one small theory is just about innovation, but entire chapter other than that is about lean system. Now what exactly does lean system mean? Well, lean system means a system of waste minimization. It is a system to decrease my wastage. Now what kind of wastage are we trying to decrease here? Well, it is talking about 7 different types of wastages. Yes, lean system is about decreasing these 7 different types of wastages. 7 different types of wastages like overproduction. Overproduction means you produce more than what is the demand. That extra units will become wastage then. Look, extra units, you might say that it will be sold not now, then it will be sold later. But you made the production early. Because you made the production early, your money got invested early, so that is also a wastage. Yes. Second, inventory. Having more inventory than what is minimally required. More inventory of WIP or finished goods. WIP or finished goods. So if you have excess inventory, that is also unnecessary wastage of your money. Waiting time is also a wastage. Like waiting over here refers to the products which are waiting for the next production step. Process 1 completed the units. Process 2 has not yet taken the units, so the units are waiting. That waiting is also time wastage. Motion talks about people or equipment moving or walking more than required. Yes, unnecessary movement of people is also wastage of time, wastage of efforts. Unnecessary movement of equipments is also a wastage. Transportation, moving the products that is not actually required to perform the processes. Like many companies do this, that after completion of the finished goods, first the finished goods are transported to warehouse. From the warehouse it is transported to some distribution center. From the distribution center it is then transported to the dealers. So there are many unnecessary transportations done. That is also a wastage. Rework from defects. Like first time when I produced the product, it turned out to be defective. Then I have to rework, repair the product. That is also a wastage. And over processing. Over processing means doing some process which is not necessary. Having unnecessary work elements. Remember non-value added activities. In class, we had discussed non-value added activities since chapter number 1. Yes, and the most common example I had given you was like, say I had told you example maybe regarding Amazon versus Flipkart. Amazon, I have noticed that they have lots of packaging done. So if they are doing excessive packaging work, like I had given an example that when I ordered wet tissues, wet wipes, the wet wipes were also delivered in bubble wrap. Now that bubble wrap was unnecessary packing element. It was an over processing that they did. Yes, so unnecessary activities, non-value added activities you're doing, that becomes also a wastage. Yes. Okay, so these are the 7 different types of wastages. Now this chapter is about various methods of how to reduce that wastage. Yes, there are many methods given in the chapter, but out of all the methods of waste reduction, out of all the methods of lean system given in this chapter, in my opinion, the most important method, the most important one will be my first one, that is just in time, JIT. Now let me give you first a short summary of this method, then I will show you the summaries given in the book. Yeah. Now just in time basically is a system in which I will order materials just in time before it is required. Similarly, I will produce finished goods also just in time before it is required by the customer. So when The last moment when I require material, only then I will order the materials. The last moment when the customer needs the finished goods, only then I will produce the finished goods. I will not order the materials well in advance and keep it in stock. No, I will not produce the finished goods well in advance and keep it in stock until the customer demands. No, I will produce the finished goods only after the customer demands. I will order the material only after my production department demands. Well, that is why this system, I say, is like a pull system. Pull system which responds to demand. It means to produce finished goods or procure raw materials. Both ways JIT will be applied. To produce finished goods and for procuring raw materials, you do that only when required rather than accumulating them in stock. It is a pull system which responds to demand. Now, what will be the benefit of this system? Well, in general, the benefit of this system will be that if you order materials at the last moment, you do the production also at the last moment, so you don't have unnecessary inventory in your stock. So the inventory wastage can be prevented with this. Yes, you don't have unnecessary inventory in your stock. That is the main advantage. Plus some other advantages will also be there, like now when I order materials, it is anyways ordered at the last moment. So if the material is anyways ordered at the last moment, so that materials when the supplier will deliver, I will not get it delivered in my store. I will get it delivered directly at my production place. Yes, the material will be delivered straightly to the production floor, so that there is no wastage of movement also. Unnecessary transportation, unnecessary movement of material will also not happen. Yes, all these are some of the benefits. More benefits we will see over here. So my first topic under here is changes imposed by JIT. So if my company starts implementing JIT now, until now we were not following JIT. Now if we start implementing JIT, then what will be the changes? Look, as compared to non-JIT company, what are the changes in the JIT company? Well, one change you can notice is that in case of non-JIT, I will order materials well in advance and keep it in my stock. I will produce finished goods well in advance and keep it in the stock, and these finished goods which I have already produced, I will now push it to the customer. I will try to push it and sell it to the customer. Hence, it was a push system, while JIT here is a pull system. I will produce the finished goods only after the customer demands. Done? Yes. Okay, so we'll see some changes over here. First set of changes is that because of JIT, it will reduce my raw material inventory and it will also improve the quality. Well, raw material inventory reduced, that is understandable because I order materials at the last moment. How come quality will also improve? We'll see. Now in case of JIT, small order quantities of materials are received and it is received at exact time when it is needed. Hence, inventory will reduce. Okay, materials are delivered straight to the production floor so that there is no wastage of movement of materials also. Also, you will visit the supplier site to provide him assistance for improving the quality. Now look, this is necessary. I will go and visit my material supplier factory and I will give him suggestions that how can he make his product better for me. Why? Because look, now I am getting the materials at the last moment. So I will not have the time to do quality checking. I may not have the time to do the quality checking of the material. So I go to the supplier factory and I give him suggestions that how to make his quality better such that I don't need to check the quality at all. Yes, so that will improve the material quality and accordingly that will improve my production quality also. If I get good quality materials from that supplier, then my production quality will also improve. Yes, plus we can also set up a system of automatic ordering. Automatic ordering, that whenever a new customer order is fed into the system, then automatically my system will make a purchase order to the supplier system. My software will automatically make a purchase order to the supplier software. Yes, maybe in your intermediate level you might have learned something called as EDI, electronic data interchange. It is basically a software system where my software will automatically make purchase order to the supplier software and it is automatically processed. No human intervention involved. Yes. Chalo. These are the changes imposed with respect to material inventory. Then changes with respect to the WIP and scrap. Now because of JIT, it will reduce my WIP stock also and it will reduce scrap also. Now how will it reduce WIP? Look, if my product requires say 1 month in processing, then even after JIT it will still require 1 month in processing. But the number of units which I leave out in processing for 1 month might be lesser. Why? Because under JIT system, you will never do bulk production at a time. You will produce only what the customer demands. So if you produce only what the customer demands, then at a time, you will not have so many units running into the production cycle. You will not have so many units into the process. Plus, one important observation here. Dekho. Important observation regarding machine setup. If my machine setup is very long and expensive, setup time is very long and that setup is very expensive. So if the machine setup is long and expensive, then the company will always tend to produce more units in each setup. Because if you have done the setup with so much efforts, then you will try to produce as much more as possible after doing the setup. But in that case, it will become opposite of JIT. If the setup is long, then the company will tend to produce more. And if you produce more, then you will have excess production. JIT system says that you should not produce more. JIT says that you produce only what is demanded. Well, that is why one change that should happen here is that dekho, if the setup is long and expensive, company will tend to produce more. This will increase WIP and FG inventory, thereby increasing the carrying cost and also chances of obsolescence of the products. Yes, eventually this will also increase defectives. Why? Because when you are producing so many units in one setup, generally defect will be identified after the batch is completed. But if you are producing 1000 units in a batch, then defect will be identified after all 1000 units are complete. And now that you identify the defect, you will see that all 1000 turned out to be defectives. Instead, if you are producing a batch of only 100 units, just imagine if you produce the finished goods in batches of only 100 units, then after every 100 unit you can check the batch, find the defects and prevent that defect in the next batch. So only 100 units you will get defectives instead of getting 1000 units defectives. That is my benefit here. So it will also increase defectives as defect might be identified only after batch completion. Thus, we need to shorten the machine setup time. What you need is to shorten the machine setup time. And that can be done. Some suggestions are given in your study material. You can do that by making a videotape of the setup and studying this videotape to eliminate some unnecessary steps. Yes. So my first major change over here is that it will shorten the setup time. You need to shorten the setup time because if the setup time is long, then you will tend to produce more units after every setup. Yeah. Second, if there is difference in the operating speed of consecutive machines, machine 1 is very fast, machine 2 is slow, and if that happens, then there will be inventory buildup in front of the slow machine. Naturally, machine 1 is very fast, machine 2 is slow, so machine 1 will give out the output very fast, but output of machine 1 must go into machine 2. Machine 2 is very slow, so there will be inventory buildup in front of machine 2, and in that case, defect, if any, may remain undiscovered until the next machine will process it. So until machine 2 will process those units, defect will go undiscovered, and by the time machine 2 will take the units and identify the defect, by that time many more defectives were already produced by machine 1 because machine 1 had some problem. Well, this problem also must be resolved under JIT. Now there are two methods to resolve this problem. What is this problem? This problem happens because of difference in operating speeds of consecutive machines. Did you understand the problem? Machine 1 is very fast, machine 2 is very slow. So machine 1 will do production, machine 2 is slow. So the units will be waiting before machine 2. Now waiting is another wastage. Plus secondly, because of these units waiting, until they are waiting, defect is not identified. Defect will be identified only when process 2 will take the units. By the time process 2 will take the units, process 1 must have produced more defectives. Hence, we need to solve this problem. Now, there are two methods to solve this problem. Two methods given as per your book. We'll see them over here. First method, it says use something called as a Kanban card. It says that Kanban card is simply a notification that a downstream machine will send to the upstream machine. Downstream machine like machine 2 will send it to the upstream machine like machine 1. Machine 2 will send a notification to machine 1 authorizing the production. Authorizing production meaning it becomes a pull system. Machine 1 will do production only when machine 2 will tell it to do production. In short, you follow pull system between two machines also. Or second method to solve this problem. Second method, which will be described in more detail later. Second method is that related machines can be grouped together into working cell. Machines grouped together into working cell run by a single operator, meaning more than one machines are brought together into one cell, and that one cell is operated by one person only. So imagine if this machine 1 and machine 2 both are brought together under the same person, same operator, then this operator will definitely balance the production of the machines such that there is no excess production. If machine 1 is handled by manager 1, machine 2 is handled by manager 2, then the problem will remain, because manager 1 will always try to show that his production is good, he will produce as much as possible, and hence there will be inventory buildup before machine 2. But if both machines are handled by the same person, then he will not do excess production, because then he will have to handle the extra units and extra defectives. Yes. So it will be automatically managed when both machines are run by single operator. Yep. Okay. And that is explained here. When one worker was attending only one machine, it was very monotonous and boring for him. Now he handles many machines in that one cell, so it becomes a little more interesting for him. Another benefit. Yeah. Also, employees must be empowered, because if employees are handling the machines, then employees should have enough authority. Employees should have the authority to stop the machine whenever they see a problem. Imagine if employee is not given that authority, whenever they will see a problem, they will inform the management, management will inform the top management, and the entire hierarchy is informed. Then from the top management, they get a notification that okay, you stop the machine. By the time the notification comes, the machine must have produced much more defectives. Instead, that bottom level employee, the ground level operational staff themselves should be given authority that they can stop the machine when they see a problem. Yes, that is my last point here. Done? Okay. Now, this method of grouping machines in working cells is coming later in my chapter again under the name Cellular Manufacturing. That topic of cellular manufacturing is exactly what I told you over here, where machines are grouped together into some cell and handled by one operator. Done? Yes. At that time, we'll have more details of this. Further, third change is the change in accounting system. If my company follows JIT, then my accounting system will also change. Why will there be change in accounting system? Well, look at the reason. Look, now that there are daily shipment of materials, so there is lots of paperwork to be done regarding the payables. Payables, like payments to be done to the supplier. Imagine if the supplier is delivering materials on a daily basis rather than monthly basis, meaning he is delivering materials in very small quantities and there are more number of deliveries. Every time he will deliver materials, he will give me an invoice and I have to pay money to him. Now, don't you think that if the payment is to be done on a daily basis, then it will be very difficult to keep a track of it. There will be lots of paperwork and daily payments will be a lots of administrative work also. Yes, that is a problem. Plus, there is no receiving paperwork. Like every day when I receive materials, I will not do any paperwork for proving the receipt of the material because it is done on a daily basis. You don't have that much time. Look, when I receive materials only once in a month, if I am receiving materials only once in a month, then at the time of receiving materials, I will make a goods received note, GRN, to prove that yes, I have received the material. Later, the accounts department can ensure that yes, the material was received or not. But in case of JIT, when I am receiving materials on a daily basis, will I make a GRN for every receipt that I get? No. So there is no receiving paperwork, and hence there is no way to determine whether deliveries have been actually made or not. How will the accounts department ensure that whether this delivery had actually happened or not? Well, that is a problem here. Okay, so I can see that there are two problems here. Number one is the problem of payables. Daily payments you have to do, that is a problem. Number two is a problem that there is no way to determine whether deliveries are made or not. The first problem regarding payables is easy to solve. Second problem regarding assuring delivery is little difficult. The first problem regarding payables, how will it be solved? Well, payable problems can be solved by making a consolidated monthly payments. I will tell the supplier that I will not give you payment on a daily basis, rather I will give you monthly payments. In fact, in your house also you have that so many times. Your milkman or say your dhobi wala who is ironing your clothes and all these ancillary services at your house, you might be making monthly payments. Milkman, I pay them monthly, like they will give me coupons and I'll purchase coupons of the entire month so that I don't have to make small payments every day. Yeah, that is basically the payables problem can be solved by making a consolidated monthly payments. But how to get assurance of the deliveries made? Well, for assurance of the deliveries made, companies can use a system called backflushing. Backflushing is a more detailed topic in the chapter which I am covering up here itself. So what exactly is backflushing? Backflushing is an accounting term, is an accounting system in which first we determine the quantity of finished goods produced during the period. So look, instead of actually counting the materials received, I don't have that time. So what I will do is, instead of counting the materials received, I will count the number of finished goods produced. Look, materials are received from outside, but finished goods are produced in my company. If finished goods are produced within my company itself, it will be easy to count. So yes, I count the number of finished goods that I produce, and based on the finished goods that I produce, based on the quantity of finished goods produced, I will determine how much material it should have used. Why? How? Well, from this quantity of finished goods, multiply these quantities by material listed in the bill of materials. Multiply that finished goods quantity with the materials listed in the bill of materials for each product. You remember bill of materials, IPCC level, it is like list of materials. For each product, there is a separate material list. So from the FG quantity, I multiply the material list. Thus, we obtain total theoretical quantity of each material that should have been used. Should have been used. So this will not indicate the materials which are actually used, but it will indicate the materials that should have been used. It will give me an approximate idea that how much material the supplier must have delivered. I will never get an exact actual idea about the materials delivered by supplier, but it will give me an approximate idea about how much material I must have consumed. Of course, to determine this material that should have been used, you will also adjust process losses, normal loss as well as abnormal losses. All the losses you have to adjust here. Yes. Okay. Now supplier payment will be also done. Payments are also done based on this theoretical quantity. So I will not care that how much invoice the supplier give. No. I will give him a payment based on this theoretical quantity of material which I believe I must have used. Yes. So there is no need for the supplier to send invoices since the company relies solely on its internal records to complete the payments. Yes. Well, this is called as back flushing. And what are the problems under back flushing? Problems under back flushing is that production quantity reported might go wrong. If the employees are not careful, then production quantity reported might go wrong. Also, the losses reported might go wrong. So losses must be correctly reported, production quantity must be correctly reported, otherwise all my calculations will go wrong. Plus, tracing the lot of a specific material is not possible. When I find that some material was defective, I want to identify that this material was delivered in which lot from the supplier. Well, that is not possible. I cannot identify the exact lot in which the material was delivered. Not possible because I have not kept any record of the materials delivered. However, certain high-end softwares might be able to do that. Yeah. And inventory accuracy will also be very low. Naturally, because all my material inventory is calculated not based on actual material delivered, it is based on the theoretical material quantity which I should have used. So my inventory accuracy will also be very low if I follow back flushing. But okay, this is the only option which you have when you follow JIT system. Otherwise, it will be very time consuming. Admin work will increase to a very large extent. Done? Yes. Well, that is my main aspects about JIT. Well, certain other things in JIT we will not spend so much time. Certain prerequisites of JIT. If you wish to follow JIT, then these are the prerequisites. There should be low variety of goods. There should be good communication, vendor should be reliable, demand should be stable, because if someday you have very high demand, someday very less demand, then JIT will not work. You should have proper quality management, you should have preventive maintenance of the machines, because if materials are coming at the last moment, then every other thing should be perfectly done. Machines should not break down. You need preventive maintenance of the machine so that machine should not break down. Yeah. And the materials should be defect free materials. If the materials are having too much defects, then your entire system will get disturbed. Yeah. Impact of JIT. Now because of JIT, what will happen? My waste cost will reduce, overheads will also decrease, and product prices can be increased. Why? Because with better quality of the product, customer will be ready to pay more. This is the impact of JIT. Now, performance measures. If my company follows JIT system, then which performance measures should I use, should I not use? Well, which performance measures should not be used in JIT? Machine utilization should not be used as performance measure, because if I measure performance based on machine utilization, then the managers will try to utilize machines more. And if they utilize the machines more, then production will be more. Under JIT, you don't want to do more production, you want to produce only what is required. Yes. Similarly, piece rate wages. If employees are paid based on piece wages, you know piece wages. Piece wages means payment is done to the employees based on units that he produces. In short, your salary is based on rupees per unit produced. Well, if I give you salary based on units produced, you will try to produce more units. Under JIT, I don't want more units. Similarly, labor efficiency will not be measured based on speed. Rather, it will be measured based on quality. Labor efficiency is not measured that how many more units you produce in 1 hour. No, I will measure efficiency of labor based on how much better quality you produced of materials, of the finished goods. Done? Yeah. So these measures are never used in a JIT system. Instead, what measures are used in a JIT system? are these. Under JIT system, the performance measures that you use will be inventory turnover. Inventory turnover must be high. If inventory turnover ratio is more, means you are following a good JIT system. What does it indicate? If inventory turnover ratio is high, meaning you are handling more sales with less inventory. Well, that is what JIT is supposed to do. You are supposed to perform better sales with less amount of inventory. Yes, so inventory turnover ratio should be high. Setup time must be low. We already discussed that. Setup time has to be lesser. Customer complaints should decrease. Scrap should decrease. Cost of quality should be optimized. I will not say increase or decrease, should be optimized. Remember chapter 2, cost of quality. Cost of quality should be balanced, should be optimized. Customer service. Well, customer service should improve, delivery time should improve, number of returns from the customer should decrease, and new ideas should be generated, because employees will also pitch in their ideas to get the JIT system operating in a more better way. Yeah, these are the performance measures that will be used under JIT. Done? Yes. Okay. That was all theory about JIT. Now, if I give you practical questions of JIT, we did few questions of practicals of JIT in a class. Well, all practical questions of JIT will always in general ask you that whether company should do JIT or not. How will you decide whether JIT should be done or not? Well, you decide by calculating a cost with and without JIT, cost without JIT and cost with JIT. I'm giving you certain common examples which cost can come. If company does not follow JIT, then carrying cost on inventory will be high. You will also have quality checking cost, material handling cost. Because you order materials well in advance, you will have lots of material handling costs. You will also do quality checking of the material, that cost will be there. Yeah, plus you have lots of inventory, so you'll have inventory insurance also. You'll have warehouse rent and other expenses pertaining to warehouse, because you keep inventory in the warehouse. Yeah, all that are my cost if I do not follow JIT. But now if we follow JIT, then most of these costs will be removed or at least reduced. So that reduced cost you take plus specific cost of JIT is that there might be increase in purchase cost. Why? Because now you don't make bulk orders. You make small orders of material. So you might lose on some bulk discount. If you lose out on the bulk discount, so you will have increase in the purchase cost. Plus you might have to pay overtime. Why? Because when I was following non-JIT system, then I will do excess production. So in case of peak season, I already have extra units which I can sell. But in case of JIT system, I will never do excess production. So during peak season, I don't have surplus stock. During peak season, I do not have any surplus stock. So during peak season, when I need to sell more and I don't have any surplus stock, then I will ask my employees to work overtime in order to satisfy the demand. Well, that is why overtime premium might be involved in JIT. We saw that in one classwork question. I hope you remember. If not, then go and refer that question. And there might be stock out costs. If employees were not ready to work overtime, so I don't have excess production capacity, then I will have stock out situation. Also, if materials are ordered at the last moment and if the delivery does not happen on time, then again I will face a stock out situation. Because of stock out, I will incur stock out cost. Stock out cost like contribution lost. Why? Because when there is a stock out, production does not happen. Production does not happen, so I am losing the customer. When I lose the customer, I will lose contribution. Done? Yes. Okay. So that was all about JIT. Going further, Kaizen. Now Kaizen is my next method of waste decreasing, waste minimization. Kaizen is basically a philosophy which is very much related to TQM. Chapter 2 wala TQM. But one major difference is that TQM is about improving quality. Kaizen is also about improving quality. But the difference is that Kaizen is about improving quality, not like drastic improvement in quality. No, Kaizen is about small improvement in quality. Very small improvement in quality, but this very small improvement in quality is done repeatedly, routinely applied. Now imagine if repeatedly I keep on improving the quality by very small margin, but that small improvements are done like 1,000 times. If 1,000 times small improvements are done, then overall improvement will be huge. That is Kaizen. So read. Kaizen philosophy implies that small incremental changes routinely applied, small improvements routinely applied and sustained over a long period will result in significant overall improvements. Yes, it aims to involve workers from multiple functions. So Kaizen is mainly about small incremental changes routinely applied. It aims to involve workers from multiple functions and levels in the organization working together to improve a process. Yeah. Okay. So certain features under Kaizen, it is gradual improvements, not like sudden improvement at an acceptable cost. Radical change, radical matlab sudden change or sudden innovation is not expected. Also, focus on eliminating waste, improving systems, improving productivity by value chain analysis. Well, it is done by value chain analysis. Chapter 1 wala. Identify value added, non-value added activities and all that. Yeah. So when you give an answer of Kaizen, if you have a case study pertaining to Kaizen, you can very well quote value chain analysis of chapter 1 in your answer. Yes, you can quote value chain analysis in your answer if they ask you case study pertaining to Kaizen. Yeah. Learn to merge more than one topics and give your answer. Because look, when you give your answer in the exam, you need to show the examiner that you have lots of knowledge. You have the knowledge, don't let it go waste. Yeah, simply you have the knowledge, then don't let it go waste. You have the knowledge of chapter 1, bring that over here and show the examiner that you know value chain analysis also. Yeah. Further, continually improving the standards to achieve long-term sustainable improvements. So the improvements that you get should be sustainable. Sustainable meaning it should be like cost reduction, not like a cost control. What's the difference? Cost reduction, cost control. Yaad karo. Cost reduction is permanent, long term. Cost control is temporary. Now sustainable means it should be long term. Cost reduction is long term. Yes. However, that cost reduction should not happen at the cost of quality. Should not reduce quality of the product. Yeah. And collective decision making is needed, employee involvement is needed. All that is about Kaizen. Next, 5S. Now 5S again was a Japanese term, just like Kaizen was also a Japanese term. It came out as 5 different suggestions regarding workplace organization. How my workplace should be organized, plus this 5S is a foundation for the 8 pillars of TPM. TPM is my next topic. Uska basic foundation is this 5S. So 5S is sort, set in order, shine, standardize and sustain. Sort basically means to remove the unnecessary items and unused items, keep only the useful items. In my workplace premises, I should not have unnecessary items lying around. Yes, say in my workplace premises right now, in my studio here right now, I have some of my daughter's toys lying around here. Now that toys are unnecessary, unused items for my studio. I should remove it and put it in the toy cupboard. Well, that is called as sorting. Sorting means to remove unnecessary and unused items, and you can do color coding for that. Like highly used items, you can show them in a different color code, and rarely used items, you can put them in a different color code so that your employees can put those rarely used items away. Yeah. Set in order. Set in order means to arrange. Look, now that the unnecessary, unused items are removed, so what I have here are only the necessary items. But the necessary items should be arranged in a proper way so that it is more useful to you. Like say, I told you my daughter's toys I removed because it is unused items, but My items, my stuff, like my mouse pad, like my mobile phone, like my AC remote and all these things, I will arrange it on my desk in a proper way so that it is most convenient for me to use. My bottle of water is also required. I have arranged it over here so that it is more convenient for me to use. Yes. So my second step is to set in order, means to arrange. Arrange the necessary items in the most efficient and accessible way. It makes, so benefits of arranging is that it makes the items easy to find, it will save space, and it can ensure FIFO method. You arrange it properly, then you can issue the materials in FIFO method. Third one, shine, basically talks about cleaning. Cleaning the premises, keeping the premises clean so that it is healthy, it is safe to work, and you can easily find the things that you need. Yeah. Plus, it also involves upkeeping of the machines. Okay. Standardize. Standardize means follow the best practices in operations, standard operating practices, SOPs. So for whatever task you do in the company, there should be some standard operating policies. Like every time you do the task, every time any employee does the task, he will do it in that same standard way. If you standardize the work, then there will be lesser need for, there will be lesser errors and there will be lesser need for supervision. For example, say, I think I had given examples regarding, say, McDonald's. McDonald's have the same standard method of making the burger. So whether employee 1 does it or employee 2 does it, doesn't matter, the burger will be made in the exact same way and it will have the exact same taste. Yes, because they have the standard methods, exact same standard methods of making the burger every time. Well, that is called as standardizations. They say that you follow the best practices in operations, create standard operating procedures, SOPs, ensure that they are performed correctly and consistently. And the last step is sustain. Sustain, because these 4 things that I suggested is not a one-time exercise. The 4S which we discussed is not a one-time exercise. It has to be sustained in the long term. And for that matter, what might be needed is that you need to have proper training, motivation, and monitoring and audits must be performed to ensure employees do this without being told. Employees should do this without being told. These are my 5S. Look, the summary that I have given you here, this summary involves the main keywords. As such, this chapter is most of theory. So the summary here is also mostly theory related summary. In theory summary, I cannot give you all the content, but I'm giving you the main keywords. These keywords should definitely come in your answer when you answer the theory of this. It doesn't mean that only this you write in the answer. Your answer, theory answer, should be extended into much more descriptions and examples. But these are the keywords should definitely come in your answer. Done? Should go on? Yes. Okay. Next is TPM, total productive maintenance. Well, this is about machines. TPM is about maintaining my machines in a better way, maintaining my machines better so that there is no machine breakdown. Yes, TPM is mainly to prevent machine breakdown. Well, it is regarding maintenance of machines in top working conditions to avoid breakdown and delays. Well, how to do that? There are 8 pillars of TPM which are given, plus one foundation. Foundation is the 5S like we just did above. Then there are 8 pillars given. I'll just give you a short summary of the 8 pillars. Pillar 1 says autonomous maintenance. Autonomous basically means that you give autonomy to employees. You give authority to the employees to eliminate the defect at source. Remember, I give authority to the employee that they can stop the machine when they find a defect. That is autonomous maintenance. Focused improvement is Kaizen. You now know what is Kaizen. Minor improvements continuously applied. Yes, that is needed. Planned maintenance. Planned maintenance means you maintain the machines. Planned maintenance involves these important terms: preventive maintenance, breakdown maintenance, corrective maintenance, maintenance prevention. Let me describe each of them. Preventive maintenance means that you do proper maintenance of the machine so that breakdowns are prevented, so that damage is prevented. Meaning you do the maintenance of the machine well in advance, or say periodic maintenance you do so that your machine does not break down. Every 6 months I give my car for servicing. Even though my car does not have any problems, still every 6 months I will give it for servicing so that the problems are avoided. That is called preventive maintenance. While breakdown maintenance is opposite. Breakdown maintenance means that I will give my car for servicing only when there is a problem. So only when the machine will break down, only then you do the maintenance work to repair the breakdown. Okay. Corrective maintenance is to correct some default in the machine. Okay. And maintenance prevention is interesting. Maintenance prevention says that you set up machines in such a way that they don't need maintenance. Instead of using a petrol diesel car, I sell out my car and I purchase an electric car. If I purchase an electric car, it is maintenance free. I don't need to give it for servicing ever, because electric car does not have any moving parts. It has zero maintenance required. Zero maintenance meaning it is maintenance prevention. The machine has been designed in such a way that you don't need to do any maintenance on it. That is called maintenance prevention. All that comes under the pillar 3, which is planned maintenance. I will say pillar 3 is important one. You might read details of that in the book. Then pillar 4 is talking about early management. Early management means shortening the time for product development. Shortening the time for product and equipment development that is needed. Quality maintenance to deliver high quality products. ठीक है. Education and training should be given to the employees, because if they are educated, they are smart enough, then the machines will be used in a proper way. Office TPM is to apply TPM for admin work, and safety, health and environment, ensuring zero accidents, ensuring safety of my employees is also necessary here. Yeah, all this are my pillars of TPM. Well, all 8 pillars, no option, you have to memorize it. Yes, these summary notes will help you to memorize them faster. I will not help you to memorize. I'm giving you summary notes. That's the maximum help I give. You need to read that repeatedly to memorize. Done? Okay. Now another area where practical questions come from this chapter. In fact, the more common practical questions will come from this part of the chapter, that is performance measurement in a TPM. We've done many such questions in class, plus in almost every exam they also ask you questions about performance measurement in a TPM. In TPM, performance measurement is done using overall equipment effectiveness, OEE measure. Now what is this OEE measure? How to calculate? Notice my calculation format here. We've done this format in class. I'll just revise that over here. First of all, you identify the total working hours of the company. Total working hours of the company as a whole, that is the total time. From that, deduct the time lost. Well, break time or machine breakdown or maintenance and setup time, power failure time, all that is my time lost. Remove that, so what remains is the time available. Time available means this is the time during which machine has done production. Say total time, if the total time was 1000 hours, but because of these factors 200 hours in the year were lost, so the time available is only 800, meaning the machine has done production for only 800 hours. Machine has actually done production for only 800 hours, but during that 800 hours the machine did not work very efficiently. So the machine did not do the production that was supposed to be done in 800 hours. Say in 800 hours it should have produced 80 units, but the machine has actually produced only 70 units. In 800 hours it should have produced 80 units, but actual production of this machine turns out to be only 70 units. Let me write that here. If actual production turns out to be only 70 units, then 70 units has standard hours of 700. It means that actually the machine has worked for 800 hours, but during that 800 hours, it has done production relevant of only 700 standard hours. So 700 is the standard hours of actual production. Actual production 700 units. Uska standard hours is only 700. Now, out of that 70 units which you have actually produced, maybe out of that 70 also, say for example, 5 units turned out to be defectives. So the good units therefore were only 65 good units. Good units turned out to be only 65. Well, this entire format explains three important measures. This entire format gives me three important measures for OEE, that is availability ratio, performance ratio, and quality ratio. Let me show that here itself. Out of total time 1000 hours, 200 hours were lost, meaning that hours were not available for production. How much was available for production? 800 out of 1000. Well, that 800 out of 1000 gives me availability percentage. I say that availability of the machine was only 80%, 800 out of 1000. Yes. Now, during that 800 hours, the machine has actually done production which should have been done in only 700 hours. Yes. Why did the production happen less? Well, this less production indicates less performance of the machine. Performance means efficiency. So that's 700 divided by 800 is 87.5%, indicates performance percentage. My machine performance has been only 87.5%, 87% efficiency you can say. Yeah, and out of 70 units which I have produced, only 65 turned out to be good units. So 65 divided by 70% is 92.86%. This indicates my quality, because out of 70 units, 5 units turned out to be bad quality, defective units. 65 turned out to be good quality. Only 92% good quality units I get. Yes, so this gives me availability percentage, performance percentage, and quality percentage. All that you understand in my format here. Done? Yes. So accordingly, formula for them is, देखो, availability ratio is time available divided by total time. This time available 800 divided by total time gives me availability percentage. Okay. Performance percentage is standard time divided by time available. Standard time is 700, standard hours for actual production, divided by actual time that you have worked is 800. That gives me performance percentage. And quality ratio is good units divided by total units, total actual production units. Good units 65 divided by total units 70 gives me quality percentage. Yeah, availability ratio indicates that how much time have I lost. Performance ratio indicates my speed losses, and quality ratio indicates the quality losses. Now, multiplication of all three will give me OEE percentage. Availability percentage into performance percentage into quality percentage gives me OEE percentage. That OEE is my measure for TPM. That is overall equipment effectiveness. Done? Yes. Well, by this format, you should be able to solve any question pertaining to OEE. Clear? Yes. Also, for comments and analysis, you can follow this. For comments and analysis, you can say that ideal values for OEE components. Availability should be more than 90%. Performance should be more than 95%. Quality should be more than 99%. Then it is called as a good measure. And according to this 90, 95 and 99%, you multiply all three of them, you will see that OEE should be approximately 85%. Overall OEE should be approximately 85%. These are the ideal values. Now what is the use of these ideal values? Well, these ideal measures you will use for analysis. Yes, use for use this for analysis and comment that whenever you calculate OEE in any question, you compare your answer of OEE with these standard ideal values and accordingly give your comments. Done? Yes. Okay. Next, cellular manufacturing. Remember I told you cellular manufacturing was already discussed under JIT. It is a subsection of JIT. What did I say there? I said that more than one machines and processes are put together and considered as one cell. Yeah, one or more machines and processes are brought together and considered as one cell. Now multiple such cells will be used in an assembly line. Each cell will be for a particular task. Yeah, now certain other things pertaining to cellular manufacturing are given here. Just read them. These cells are arranged in a U-shaped design, okay, so that the supervisor can watch over the entire production without moving so much. Scattered processes are merged, only then it becomes a cell, so it reduces flow time, flow distance, floor space. Inventory can be reduced. Scrap and rework can also be reduced. Yes, how can scrap and rework be reduced? Well, because if all the processes are done in a closed area, nearby area, so you can see the scrap easily and you can stop the scrap easily. Yeah, quality control is facilitated as problems can be easily detected and underperforming cells can be isolated, means removed. It improves employee cohesiveness. Employees are now working close together, so employee relations will also improve. Plus you need less number of employees. If all my machines are arranged in a U-shaped design, then this one employee can watch over all the machines. If one employee can watch over all the machines, one supervisor can watch over all the machines, so I need less number of employees, so my number of employees will also scale down to a more manageable level. And the cells are designed to maintain some specific flow volume, so they are not flexible. I can use this method only when my production volume remains consistent. If production volume keeps on changing, then cellular manufacturing might not work because this method is not that flexible. Yes, okay. That was regarding cellular manufacturing. In my opinion, not a very famous topic. But yeah, next topic, very famous topic, Six Sigma. Six Sigma you might have learned since your IPCC level, since your SM subject, strategic management subject in your intermediate level. We'll read that again, chalo. Six Sigma is again a method of waste reduction. It is a quality improvement technique to eliminate defects. Quality improvement technique to eliminate defects to practically reach almost zero defect level. Almost zero defect, like 3.4 defects per million. That is almost zero defect. That level, if you achieve, it is called as Six Sigma. Yeah. To eliminate defects that affect the customer satisfaction, by measuring defects in a process, a company can develop ways to eliminate them. Yes. Okay. Implementation of Six Sigma. Well, there are two methods to implement Six Sigma. One called DMAIC method, other called DMADV method. Both methods are applicable in different situations. Generally, DMAIC is applicable for existing processes. DMADV is applicable for new process or new products. Yeah, and the steps involved are here. DMAIC, each alphabet stands for the steps. D is for define the problem. If it is an existing business process, you define first what is the problem in your business process, where is the problem you define, then measure the current performance, analyze to analyze the current performance to find the root cause of the problem. Okay, improve the process so that you can eliminate the root cause, and then control means maintain that improved process, in future also. This is my DMAIC applicable for existing processes, while DMADV I have written them side by side so that you can differentiate. DMADV is for new processes, or new products. Well, in case of new products or new process, notice there does not already exist any problem. So my first step is not define the problem, rather first step is define the customer deliverables. Customer deliverables means what the customer needs. So define what is the customer requirement, measure and determine what is his requirement. Okay, analyze the process to meet that customer needs. Analyze not the problem, because there is no problem. Analyze the process, that how will this process meet the customer needs. Analyze the process to meet customer needs. Design a process to meet the customer needs. According to your analysis, design a process that will satisfy customer needs, and verify the design performance and ability to meet the customer needs. Yes, so verify the design performance. Look, this revision series which I have started, I can say it is as per DMADV method, because there did not exist already any revision series by Devang sir. It is a new process that Devang sir started. Yes, so first I define what the customer, what the students want. So I will define what will the students want. I measure, determine what are their exact needs. I identified that student needs guidance or student needs a revision series for the last day revision. Yes, so I measured what they need. I analyze the process to meet customer needs. I analyze that how will I fulfill that customer's requirement. I can fulfill that by just giving summary notes. I can fulfill that by making summary videos. I can fulfill that by making both. So I analyze what can be done, and according to that analysis I will design a process to meet the customer needs. I designed these revision series to satisfy the student needs, and then after that I verify that whether this revision series is actually fulfilling the student needs or not. Yes, so please do give your opinions and reviews that whether this revision series is helping you or not. Yeah, because that will help me in my last step here for verification. Done? Yes. Okay. Then you are told that DMAIC is used in following cases. DMADV is used in following cases. As we saw, DMAIC is for existing product. It is a part of an ongoing continuous improvement program. Okay, it is done when only single process needs to be altered, as against over here multiple process needs to be altered. It is done when competition's actions are stable, while here competitors' performance keep changing. Customer behavior is unchanging, customer behavior is changing. So if I summarize, stable, unchanging, then you follow DMAIC, and changing, then you follow DMADV. Again, same, technology stable, technology growing. This is short term, this is for long term, because in long term naturally things will change, in short term things will not change. Done? Yes. Okay, and the last part of the chapter is process innovation and BPR. Process innovation, PI basically means to implement some new process, some innovative process. Look, BPR focuses on changing existing processes. Re-engineering means there is already an engineered process, you are changing it. While PI, process innovation, means to implement some new process, complete new process you try to implement. And process innovation could be in following areas. You try to implement some new process in production or delivery or support services. That is process innovation. More details, read from the book. And BPR definition is given. It is fundamental rethinking and radical redesign of the business process to achieve dramatic improvements. Now these are the keywords under oops, sorry for that. These are some keywords under BPR. That BPR definition itself explains everything. More detailed More detailed explanation of the definition you'll see in the book, in your main book. Here I'll just summarize. BPR is fundamental rethinking, meaning you think of the basic fundamentals again. BPR is talking about changing the entire existing process. Now, to change the entire existing process, you need to start thinking again from the basic fundamentals. Yes, it is a radical redesign. Radical means massive redesign, complete change in my design of doing the work, and it should give me dramatic improvements. Dramatic improvements like 80 to 90% savings. It should give me, if it gives me 80-90% savings, then it will be called as BPR, otherwise it is not BPR. Done. I think I might have given you example of ATM machines for BPR. Before ATM machines, you would have to go to the bank physically, write a check and withdraw cash. It was a very long process. But now, because of ATM machines, that entire process is completely changed. Radical redesign. Now for cash withdrawal, you don't write a check, you don't go to a bank, you don't go to the cash counter. Rather, you go to an ATM machine, there is no check, there is a card. You swipe the card, hit the pin, get the cash. It's very fast. Earlier, cash withdrawal would take around 30 minutes if I go by check method, but now by ATM card, my cash withdrawal will not even take 3 minutes. 90% savings in time. This is exactly my BPR. Done? Yes. Okay, so that completes my chapter number 3. Next will be chapter number 4 in my next video. Until then, bye bye.